Hey, it's Casey, and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Age Inquisition. When we last left off, I believe that we had just picked up two new members for the Inquisition. I kind of froze there. Yeah, it's been a couple of days since I last played, so I'm trying to remember what all happened. I'm pretty sure the last thing was that we had just gotten Sarah and Vivienne, I think.
How can you be
Let's
so
go
calm?
and
Everything
click on the war.
question.
Oh.
It's good you've returned. We heard of your encounter.
You heard?
My agents in the city sent word ahead, of course.
It's a shame the Templars have abandoned their senses, as well as the capital.
At least we made contact.
At least we know how to approach the mages and Templars now.
Do we? Lord Seeker Lucius is not the man I remember.
True, he has taken the orders somewhere, but to do what? My reports have been very odd.
We must look into it. I'm certain not everyone in the Order will support the Lord Seeker.
Or the Herald could simply go to meet the mages in Redcliffe instead.
You think the Mage Rebellion is more united? It could be 10 times worse.
I feel like it's supposed to be diplomatic here and say you must choose soon.
Or you could stop bickering and make a decision.
I agree.
We shouldn't discount Redcliffe. The mages may be worth the risk.
They are powerful, Ambassador, but more desperate than you realize.
You think it's a trap?
You think the invitation could be some kind of trap?
If some among the rebel mages were responsible for what happened at the Conclave,
The same could be said about the Templars.
True enough. Right now, I'm not certain we have enough influence to approach the Order safely.
then the Inquisition needs agents in more places. That's something you can help with.
In the meantime, we should consider other options.
There is one other matter. Several months ago, the Grey Wardens of Ferelden vanished. I sent word to those in Orlais, but they have also disappeared. Ordinarily, I wouldn't even consider the idea they're involved in all this, but the timing is curious.
Yeah, it does sound suspicious.
That does sound odd. I agree. The others have disregarded my suspicion, but I cannot ignore it. 2 days ago, my agents in the hinterlands heard news of a Grey Warden by the name of Blackwall. If you have the opportunity, please seek him out. Perhaps he can put my mind at ease. And if he can't, then there may be more going on than we thought.
Okay, so that's not the best of news, that apparently there's also something going on with the Wardens. So I'm going to run in here really quick and see if there's anything that the War Council can do. Okay, a special training from those who have joined the Inquisition's cause. So we have some kind of perks. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take the underworld knowledge as a starting point. It sounded like a good thing to have, so. Okay, so we have Red Ginny. Inquisition needs bees. I don't know how someone could come to this idea, but I can see the use. It's a large area to search, however. A memo from Josephine written on a note from Sarah. Know what ruins a party? Bees. I know a man who teaches how to jar them, safe but angry. Stingy, no good for honey, but great for throwing. He's somewhere south. Sarah has grilled a jar of bees hitting someone in the face, also a butt. Okay. Josephine says, I can send runners among the bands. If this weapon can help, it will be found. Liliana says, if he's peddling them to fighting forces, my people will find the trail. And Colin says it's too large an area to cover. Bounty hunters are a simpler bet. Yeah, I don't really have a preference on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and send Colin because he takes the least amount of time.
All right.
I'm not ready to open up a new area yet, I don't think. The Cult of Andraste. Before the Fifth Blight and the arrival of the hero of Ferelden, Haven was occupied by cultists who worshipped a dragon, one they believed to be Andraste reborn. Both the cultists and their dragon were long gone by the time the Chantry arrived to build the Temple of Sacred Ashes, but there may still be undiscovered passages in the mountains containing their relics. With a concerted search effort, it might be possible to unearth something useful to the Inquisition. Okay. Liliana says, this is a task best left to a few select agents knowledgeable regarding dangerous magic. I have just the ones in mind. And then Colin, I'm leery of what we might find in these passages, but we have enough soldiers for a search. They will simply need to be careful. I do want to send Liliana on this one. I know Colin's busy, but I don't want to wait for him, and I like what Liliana has to say more. So go ahead and send her.
Let's see what we have.
Let's look at Orlais and see what we can do there. Truth or Dare, the Imperial Court. A letter addressed to Vivienne lies open on the table. A note has been added to the top which reads, Josephine darling, you should take care of this, V. My dearest Vivienne, you cannot have heard the shocking allegations against the Inquisition, or surely you would never have been seen with them. Allow me as a friend to open your eyes. People are saying that divine Justinia is indeed alive, but that the Inquisition, her closest advisors and most trusted servants, have orchestrated all this chaos on her orders. That it was Seeker Pentagast and Sister Nightingale who sabotaged the Conclave in order to eliminate opposition within the Chantry, and cut off the heads of the Mage Rebellion and Templars in a single stroke. To save your own reputation, you must escape this acquaintance immediately. With deepest concern, Vicomtesse Elodie de Morale. Okay. Josephine, we need the support of the nobles to combat this rumor. I can arrange a few key visits. So I'll go ahead and send Josephine off on this.
At your service.
Okay, so everyone is busy. So I will head back out and try to see, talk to Sarah and Vivienne, find them in Haven, and see if they have anything interesting to say now that they're here. So it looks like there's a new head over here. So maybe it's one of those two. Yeah, Vivienne.
I met an elven mage earlier. Solus, I believe he was called. I admit I was surprised. I didn't expect to find mages among the Inquisition. Tell me, why were you at the Divine Conclave?
Oh man, these are a lot of good choices. I don't want to say the mages to be free. I do want the circle to be restored for sure. So those three are all good, but I think I want to say we need the circle restored because I don't want the mages just running amok. They need someone to make sure they don't get possessed and to watch out, make sure they're safe and everyone else is safe. So I'll say we need the circle restored.
The Circle had plenty of problems, but it's an institution we sorely need.
I wish more people understood the truth of this. Justinia's death has shattered the balance of power in Thedas. If it is not restored quickly, countless lives will be lost. Mages, Templars, innocent people of all kinds now look to the Inquisition to decide their fate.
I'll do all I can.
I'll try not to let them down.
Failure is a luxury we cannot afford, my dear. For almost 1,000 years, the world believed it was in the hands of the Maker. And now many believe you are the agent of his will. Whatever the truth is, that belief gives you power.
No one should have that power.
Nobody should claim to know the will of the Maker. Not me, and not the Chantry.
Perhaps nobody should. But if no one leads the way, many will be left behind in darkness. I've stolen enough of your time, my dear. Don't let me keep you.
Okay, let's see what else she has to say.
Yes?
I want to help the circle.
Is there anything I can do to help your efforts at restoring the Circle?
After the Circles fell, their libraries were plundered by scavengers. 1,000 years of recorded knowledge in the hands of bandits. It makes me sick to think of it. I've received news that some tomes have been located, if you are interested in righting this wrong.
Sure, I'll find them.
I'll look into it for you.
If you can take care of this matter, the Circle would be in your debt. Yes?
Tell me about yourself.
I'd like to know more about you, Madame Vivienne.
Whatever would you like to know?
Where are you from?
Your accent's not Orlesian. Where exactly are you from?
I am from the Circle, my dear. One's country of origin rarely matters there. But if you must know, I was born in Wycombe in the Free Marches. I was sent to the Ostwick Circle, but I transferred to Monsignor while still an apprentice.
How did you become a courtier?
I'm curious how a Circle mage winds up a courtier.
Nobody winds up at court, my dear. It takes a great deal of effort to arrive there. I caught the eye of Duke Bastien de Ghislaine, an advantageous connection that opened many doors. When the position of Enchanter to the Imperial Court became vacant, I was able to secure it.
So you married a duke?
You're married to the Duke de Ghislaine.
Of course not, my dear. Don't be ridiculous. Marriage is the business of alliance and inheritance. I'm Bastien's mistress.
What does his wife think?
And what does the Duchess de Ghislaine think of this arrangement?
We got along quite well. Duchess Nicoline and I used to host musical salons together. She was a great patron of the arts. She passed away from a fever a few years ago, the poor dear.
What is a court enchanter?
What duties does a court enchanter have?
I am tasked with providing assistance to the Empress on arcane matters. Most of my predecessors restricted this to lighting lamps and doing parlor tricks. In such troubled times as these, however, I provide political advice to Her Majesty on the subject of the Mage Rebellion.
Okay, any chance we might...
Do you think that you and I might someday...
How very sweet of you to ask, but no.
So she just shut me down pretty hard. Okay.
Yes?
Tell me about the Circle.
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
Tell me about the Templars.
You must have an opinion of the Templars after living so long in the Circle.
Having opinions about Templars, my dear, is exactly like having opinions about mages or Navarrans or men. I have known some who were impossible to endure and some who were utterly charming. I have suffered insults at the hands of those in the armor, but no more than I endured from nobles or tradesmen in Val Royal. Personally, I have found the Templars a useful tool, skilled at keeping more unpleasant elements at bay.
Wasn't the Circle disbanded?
If the Circle disbanded, how can you still belong to it?
The Circle is an idea, my dear, and an idea cannot be dissolved. Many of the first enchanters voted for rebellion, caring little that anything short of a unanimous decision would pit mage against mage. Rather than dissolving it, Grand Enchanter Fiona's vote split the Circle in two. The rebels follow her, the loyalists follow me.
Shouldn't you replace Fiona?
If you led all the loyalists, why are you only First Enchanter and not Grand Enchanter?
Grand Enchanters are elected, and since there are no First Enchanters besides myself, no vote can be held. I could name myself Grand Enchanter, but the title holds no meaning now. When the circles are restored, that will change.
What was Circle life like?
What was it like to live in a Circle?
My dear, your question is the root of all problems with mages. I cannot tell you. Every circle was different. Their Templars were different, their politics unique. And every person within each tower had an experience of circle life unique to themselves. Some people suffered and some were content. Some were cruel, some compassionate, and some indifferent. The same is true of people everywhere, in all circumstances, whether they are mages or not.
What about your experience?
So tell me about your personal experience with the Circle.
I enjoyed life in the Montsimard Circle, my dear. It was an edifice devoted to knowledge and refinement. And mages need the company of other mages. No one else can truly understand the challenges we face, nor see the world as we do.
Was confinement hard?
You must have been under constant supervision, being forced by Templars to live in the tower. Was that hard to endure?
My dear, I have a suite in the palace and a wing at my dear Duke Bastien's estate. I've never been forced to live anywhere. Most circles allowed mages to live away from the tower, either on their own or in service to the nobility. All that was required was permission from the first enchanter. Some circles were harsher in their restrictions. Kirkwall was the worst, but it was the exception. Most were quite permissive. Perhaps too permissive, in retrospect.
Interesting that Kirkwall is the worst. How did the rebellion start?
How did we come to this state with the circles in revolt?
A failure of perspective that infected Circle leadership. Mages lived solely in a world of Templars and mages. They could not even imagine what was beyond the tower walls. Kirkwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia, again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
Do you know Fiona?
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendously ill-timed and selfish vote for independence, I thought her adequate at her job. In her dotage, she could not handle looking after the well-being of so many people. We would have done better to replace her years ago, to let her spend time gardening.
Were they justified?
Did they have cause to rebel?
In the aftermath of their terrorist attacks? Was that really the most opportune time to break away? By all means, protest abuses by the Templars. Just don't do it in a way that says mages support wholesale murder. By voting when they did, my colleagues all but declared war upon the ordinary people of Thedas. A war in which we are outnumbered 100 to 1.
So mages are fighting mages?
I thought the fighting was only between mages and Templars. Why are mages fighting mages?
The vote for independence was carried by only a small margin, but Fiona chose to let the motion stand. Those who opposed a rash declaration of war against the entire free world had little choice. By breaking from the Chantry when they did, the rebels declared themselves in support of mass murder. Anyone who did not wish to support terrorism and the slaughter of innocents was forced to take arms against the rebels.
I'll go see if she has anything else to say. I
Yes?
think that was it, though. Yeah, that was all. Okay, so that was interesting. I think this chick definitely has some kind of aspirations. I don't like whether political. She wants power for sure. But
Excuse me.
I
I've got a message for the
think
Inquisition.
we
but
have a
I'm
lot
having
of the
hard
same
time getting anyone
opinions
to talk
on
to me.
mages, so that is interesting. So let's talk to this person, Krim. Identify yourself.
Who are you, soldier?
Cremisius Aclasi with the Bulls Chargers Mercenary Company. We mostly work out of Orlais and Navarra. We've got word of some Tevinter mercenaries gathering out on the Storm Coast. My company commander, Iron Bull, offers the information free of charge. If you'd like to see what the Bulls Chargers can do for the Inquisition, meet us there and watch us work.
Tell me about your company.
What can your Bulls Chargers offer the Inquisition?
We're loyal, we're tough, and we don't break contracts. Ask around Val Royeaux. We've got references.
Tell me about your leader.
What should I know about your commander?
Iron Bull. He's one of those Kunari, the big guys with the horns. He leads from the front. He pays well, and he's a lot smarter than the last bastard I worked for. Best of all, he's professional. We accept contracts with whoever makes the first real offer. You're the first time he's gone out of his way to pick a side.
Why give us this message?
Why did your commander send us this information?
Iron Bull wants to work for the Inquisition. He thinks you're doing good work.
Yeah, we need any help we can get, so we welcome the help.
I look forward to meeting this Iron Bull.
We're the best you'll find. Come to the Storm Coast and you can see us in action.
Okay. Let's see if we can see Sarah on this map. Oh, that was her. Okay. It looks like she should be... I think that's where the tavern is, so maybe outside of there. I guess she could be in it as well. Let's see what she has to say. Yeah, it looks like she's inside.
Fixed it.
So, this is it, huh? Oh no, it's fine, yeah? It's just, I thought it'd be bigger. That would have been hilarious if you were a man, right? Wasted. Anyway, stopping wars should earn more sovereigns than this. Need things back to normal for coins to be flowing again. Another reason the Templars and mages need to be sat down.
There's more going on.
It's not just a war between those two.
Well, sure, the sky has a hole in it, but I can't put an arrow in that. Well, I have. Doesn't come down. That's weird. And that's the point, right? It's weird and right there, but they still want to punch each other. They're too busy to look up where the real questions are.
What questions are those?
Is there something else you're looking for? Like, what's behind all this?
Maybe. I don't know. First things first, right? I help you, march, arrow, kick. Then people stop being stupid, and everything starts to make sense again. Sound good to you, all-touched Lady Herald?
You saying sounds very good.
I think I'll enjoy having you around, Sarah. I hope you'll feel the same.
Lady Trevelyan is cheeky. See you, Herald. Herald. I have to do something about that. Chasing the Lord Seeker, I hear. Anyone who thinks they need Lord in front of the name, that's bad. Bet he's got a portrait taller than he is. That's your first clue to a total arse. Fact.
Tell me about your background.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh yeah? Interested, are you?
Where are you from?
How about the basics? Where are you from?
Ferelden?
I got that from the accent. Where in Ferelden?
All over? Okay, fine. Denerim for a bit. South, north, wherever I want.
Very evasive. So I can make evasive jokes too.
Oh, you're from wherever? I'm from North wherever.
What?
North wherever. Oh, we had fun on street and or in local tavern.
Oh, hardy ha. Oh, funny you. It's complicated. I don't like complicated. Let's leave it at that. Maybe.
Okay. Who trained you?
You're skilled. Who taught you how to use a bow?
No one.
That seems unlikely.
What? I picked it up here and there. Mostly it just makes sense. It's not like that for you.
Are you serious?
It never occurred to you that doing what you do should require some effort.
Well, yeah. I practice. Some. Not like Cullen and his pets. I mean, you miss, then you don't. Is it that hard to see when it's wrong?
Is it an elf thing?
Most I know couldn't find an arrow sitting on it. Right. Maybe I just make it look easy in shite company. Fact still is, no teacher. Where would I find one in alleyways anyway?
I don't know if I should ask that. I feel like that's, I guess, stated. It's not a question. I feel like that could be a little bit offensive, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. So you're different for an elf.
You're not like most of the elves I've met.
Thanks, right? Or was that an insult? Suppose I could go barefoot and whine more. Like that's soulless, right? Never be as good as we were. Well, who's we? I'm just fine.
So there's no value in tradition?
There's a lot of tradition there. Should it just be thrown away?
Your great-grandfather's dead. Why aren't you dead? You're throwing away tradition.
That makes sense to you.
None of it does in the city. That's why I'm not like an elf,
Okay.
We'll talk later.
if you say so.
Let's see if she has anything else to say.
Chasing mages, that's a Templar's job. A big, armored, pissed-off helm polisher. Not too late to go find some. Or stay home.
Tell me about your friends.
You apparently have a lot of friends. Tell me about your network.
It's not mine, right? I mean, it is, but it's also everyone. Everyone who wants to shove it to nobles who hide behind gold and silk. And hats, I guess.
What does your group do?
Are you just about pranks and revenge, or is there more to it?
Well, it's a weave, right? I grease a ballroom, so a wyvern chasing Git has to hunt sprained. Strangely, handmaids leave his vault open. His heirlooms pay off someone else. Maybe clean streets in Kirkwall so someone gets something else. Pish, pish, pish. A lot of people eventually get help or a laugh. Or maybe someone dead, if they deserve it.
Well, that's good to know.
I'm glad I met you before someone decided what I deserved.
You're no hateful ass so far. I'd just get you with a pie or something. Anyway, assassin's a bard's job, innit? No fun, that lot. They might plonk a noble, right? But only to raise another. Plus, I'm shy at singing.
Was there ever a Red Jenny?
Is Red Jenny real? Or was she always just you and your friends?
Dunno.
Don't you care?
Not if it works. I mean, red is scary because blood. And Jenny is... Look, nobody fears the bunch of people who do random stuff. And besides, it's easy. Nobles want a bogeyman because they need to believe normal people can't get at them. Numbers, yeah? An even spread is all it takes.
So do you share the blame too?
Doesn't this mean people think you're guilty of more than you actually do?
Suppose. Does it matter?
Shouldn't it?
Important people kill over imagined insults. I've made more than enough real ones, so no. I don't suppose it does.
I expected people from you.
Where are the people you promised?
If I knew, there wouldn't be much use. That's sort of the point. Look, unless your baddies are rocks or trees, they have people they use. Cooks, squires, wipers. Yeah, I know, wipers, right? You better believe the one with wipers deserve it, right in the... Well, anyway. The little people will be there when you need them, in a million little ways.
So it's strength in numbers.
So lots of little contributions add up in the background, like snowflakes that snap a branch.
What? Sure. Like snow, I guess. Anyway, it just works, most of the time. Friend of a friend and little hints. Mind you, you still have to be smart. Don't bet your life unless you're into that. Risky, yeah? But you like a bit of a tease.
I guess as long as it works for you.
I can play along if it works for you.
You have a choice. Hail the Inquisition.
Okay.
We'll talk another time.
It's all good, innit? Sitting and waiting. Great, yeah?
So, any opinions on our allies?
What do you think about the people who have gathered?
Which? The ones who do things, the ones who give orders?
Solus.
What about Solus?
Solus? His head's crammed up 1,000 years ago.
Varric?
Anything to say about Varric?
Varric? Too clever. Always saying something, but never saying it straight.
Vivienne.
What's your opinion of Vivienne?
She's a bitch, but she knows. She better.
True. Okay, Cassandra.
Thoughts about Cassandra?
Not as buttoned up as she plays, right? Tough, though. I'd stand behind her in front of anything.
What about my advisors?
What do you think about our Spymaster, Ambassador, and Commander?
Liliana is pretty in places. Swear I've seen her, too. Or heard she used to play. But that'd be mad. Now, Josephine, she's as good at humbling her kind as I am. Just with less mess. Knows her business, if you have to have it. And Cullen, as suppose if you want a jackboot, you get a big one so you can grow into it. Nice hair.
Okay, that's good for now.
We'll talk later.
Good, right? I'll be here.
Okay, let's see if anyone else has anything to say while we're back here.
As I explored the Fade, I felt the presence of an intriguing artifact in the hinterlands. If you are willing, I would like to locate it. I have marked its location as best I could determine.
Okay, goodbye.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
So, he didn't have anything to say. That might be the case with everyone, but I'm gonna go ahead and check while we're here and just chatting with everyone, so... see if there's anything I missed the first time around.
Need something?
I have a personal question.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Yeah, okay, that's what I
Thanks,
thought. I
Varric.
think he has
No
something new to
problem.
say as well. I just wasn't entirely sure.
When there was no sky maker, you were the sky. When there was no earth, you were the
Yes?
When there was nothing.
Why did the Templars leave?
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts. Not to the extent they should.
What changed?
But the Templars have served the Chantry for ages.
And in that time, they've come to take the Order's services for granted. Templars risk their lives against blood magic, demons, abominations, to feel as if those efforts are dismissed. Now, I may disagree with the Order's actions, but I'm here as proof of that. But I sympathize with their frustrations.
Tell me about Templar life.
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
Okay. How are Templars trained?
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy it?
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the Chant of Transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Why did you become a Templar?
Why did you join the Order?
I could think of no better calling than to protect those in need. I used to beg the Templars at our local chantry to teach me. At first, they merely humored me. I must have shown promise, or at least a willingness to learn. The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. They agreed to send me for training. I was 13 when I left home.
That's pretty young.
13? That's still so young.
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to the Order at infancy. Still, I didn't take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
What about your family?
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Of course, but there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
So what do Templars do?
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates, or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
So what do you think of mages?
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession, at the least.
He's pretty self-aware. I wonder if that is, if that came from the Ferelden Circle or if that was from Kirkwall. Let's see. So you lived in the Circle?
You've lived in the Circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's howling, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
So do you not speak to the mages?
Do Templars and mages never speak to each other?
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
Tell me about their vows.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of Lyrium and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
Are there vows of celibacy?
A life of service and sacrifice. Are Templars also expected to give up physical temptations?
Physical? Why... why would you... That's not expected. Templars can marry, although there are rules around it, and the Order must grant permission. Some may choose to give up more to prove their devotion, but it's not required.
Okay, so what about you?
Have you?
Me? No. I've taken no such vows. Maker's breath. Can we speak of something else?
I think that got him pretty flustered.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
I'm sure you have other matters to attend. Yes?
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
I should get to know you better. We are working together after all.
What would you like to know?
All right. Where are you from?
I grew up in Ferelden, near Honwood. I was transferred to Kirkwall shortly after the Blight. This is the first I've returned in almost 10 years.
You were away a long time.
You haven't seen Ferelden in 10 years. Are you glad to be back?
I was not sorry to leave at the time. I did not expect to return. Now, between the Divine's murder and the breach, I've arrived to find nothing but chaos.
Tell me about the Blight.
You were in Ferelden during the Blight. Did you fight Darkspawn?
No. I was stationed at Ferelden's Circle Tower. The Circle had troubles of its own. I remained there during the Blight.
What happened at the Circle?
What happened at the Circle Tower?
You who survived the Blight have fond memories of that time. I would prefer not to speak of it.
Tell me about Kirkwall.
What was Kirkwall like?
While I was there, Canary occupied and then attacked the city. The Viscount's murder caused political unrest. Relations between mages and Templars fell apart. An apostate blew up the Chantry, and the Knight Commander went mad. Other than that, it was fine.
Tell me about the rebellion.
What happened between Kirkwall's mages and Templars?
You were at the Conclave. You must have heard people speak of it.
Yes, but you were there.
There was tension between mages and Templars long before I arrived. Eventually, it reached a breaking point. There was fighting in the streets. Abominations began killing both sides. It was a nightmare.
How did it end?
What happened then?
The Templars should have restored order, but Red Lyrium had driven Knight Commander Meredith mad. She threatened to kill Kirkwall's champion, turned on her own men, and Not sure how far she would have gone. Too far.
So you opposed her?
I stood with the champion against her, in the end. I should have seen through Meredith sooner.
Varric's from Kirkwall.
Varric's from Kirkwall. Did you two know each other?
I knew he was friends with the champion of Kirkwall, but little else. We've spoken more since I joined the Inquisition, largely at Varric's insistence. Apparently, I spend too much time with a serious expression on my face, and it's bad for my health.
I'll let you return to your work.
Should you require anything, I'll be here.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else.
Did
I
you
think I
need
missed
something?
talking to him the first time. Tell me about your colleagues.
What do you think of the people you work with?
Who do you mean?
How was working with Josephine?
What do you think of our ambassador?
We have little in common. How she delights in meeting with nobles all day is beyond me. But I enjoy working with her.
What do you think of Liliana?
How do you like working with Liliana?
The Inquisition would not exist without her. I may not always agree with her methods, but she's more passionate about our cause than anyone. Cassandra may have declared the Inquisition publicly, but Liliana is just as responsible for its formation.
Okay, tell me about our soldiers.
Are you satisfied with the Inquisition's forces?
Our numbers are small, but they suit our needs for the time being. Some Templars have joined us instead of following the Order. They've proven invaluable in training new recruits.
I should let you get back to work.
Did you need something?
Okay, anything I should know?
Is there anything I should know?
The Lord Seeker's actions are a mystery, but the Templars will aid us. They cannot sit idle while the breach remains.
Okay, that's all.
That's all for now.
Another time, then.
See if Cassandra has anything to say.
Yes?
Tell me about yourself.
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
I feel like she still probably doesn't want to tell me what happened to her brother, so I'm just not going
let
to
you get
ask
back
her
to
for a
work.
while. Until we're friendlier, I suppose. Okay, let's go back into the War Council and finish. I think, I'm not sure if everyone's finished, but I recall at least a couple of them are done. Colin's done. I can't remember if Josephine or Liliana was done, but someone else was for sure. Oh, actually, I want to stop and see if Liliana has anything to say before I head in there.
The Templars have withdrawn.
Did you need something?
You're Justinia's left hand?
They called you the left hand of the Divine.
That they did. What of it?
Tell me more about Justinia.
I'd like to hear about Justinia. What was she like?
A friend. A mentor. Like me, she had secrets, made mistakes. It made her human. I think her followers responded to that.
I'm still not going to ask her if they are more than friends. That's just not my business at this point. So let's continue this later.
We'll talk more later.
Now let's see if she has any updates.
Did you need something?
Any updates?
Anything I should know?
I've nothing to report at the moment.
Okay, then carry on.
I'll leave you to your work.
Oh, you know, I suppose I should pop in here and see if I have anything to turn in. Nope, nothing.
I don't feel comfortable letting parts from demons be of... Greetings.
Anything to report?
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Okay, how are our guests?
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
None in particular. Our guests are well pleased with what they've seen.
Okay. Okay, we have received weapon plans and located an apiary to supply us. When the idea was presented, the beekeeper tinted his fingers and sneered. Of course, quite disturbing. So now we have a jar of bees grenade recipe. It's incredible how many passages remained undiscovered even after the Chantry's arrival, and they scoured every inch of these mountains for years in search of anything related to the sacred ashes. The cult didn't build all of this. It was here long before, and who knows how many years it would take to find it all. Of the new passages uncovered during the search, most were long empty or contained goods far beyond salvage. A few, however, yielded some artifacts of interest, and one evidently contained strange ruins we have yet to translate. If we can find someone capable of doing so, they might prove of use. And we got a life word amulet. And let's see if Josephine is finished. Yeah, looks like she is as well. Ambassador, I very much enjoyed your soiree, and I hope to see you at the summer cottage for our picnic luncheon next month. Do not fret about the ghastly things said about your associates. More reasoned heads will prevail, and this foolish gossip will come to nothing. Yours, Duke Cyril. And I got 30 influence. Okay, let's see if there's anything new. So we have the secrets of Andraste. The ruins discovered in the mountain passage during the recent search are of a type never seen before, neither Tevinter nor Elven, and perhaps dating back to the time of Andraste herself. There are few who might be able to translate the script, and the benefit of doing so is unknown. So Liliana says we have agents with magical knowledge and the means to acquire text. Let us work on this ourselves. And Josephine says, I know several Antivan scholars who can be discreet. They would happily translate the runes for us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send Josephine.
At your service.
Let's see what else we have. So Red Jenny says, drop and grab. Okay, I can make no sense of this. The herald found her. Perhaps she can advise. : A letter from Sarah follows. For your big hats, Lord whoever says you're rubbish. His servants don't care, but could. Drop a few things for them. They'll give Josephine a surprise. I think scrolls or something. Sarah. A scribble of heraldic symbols and directions are below. Also Sarah's name 37 times. Okay, Liliana says, we require middlemen. Secure the goods and the favor of the noble. Colin says, we have no time for games. Far simpler to stop this with soldiers and find favor with this noble. Josephine says, the heraldry is of a minor house. Shall we instead see what the surprise might be? I think I want to wait and see what the surprise might be, so we'll wait for Josephine to be done. I think that was it, so I guess we can always gather more gold. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And I will quit here for today, so thank you for watching.